from that to where I was like, my gosh, look at this. I'm a different woman. My heart has changed for my children.
Was that the most challenging thing that you've gone through?
I've had teenagers the past few years.
Okay, I would throw a question. That'll bring guilt out of anybody.
That'll humble you, I'll tell you that right now.
If you misinterpret the scripture that says, train up a child in the way he'll go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. And if you read that to mean everything your child does is your fault,
Right.
that you caused it, and that all of this foolishness that you see there is because you're a bad parent. Boy, I'll tell you what, that's guilt on the capital.
So yes, I've had some guilt in that area, but I've kind of had to ascribe is it true, is it false? And if it's true, what do you need to do about it? And what do you need to do in your relationship to heal that?
All right, now you talk about Graceland National Park.
Yes, that's where we went again. I'm all about the grace, all about the grace. I just want to remind mothers, motherhood is supposed to be joyful. It really is. And one of the things I encourage listeners and all of us, here is laughter. Boy, the power of laughter in our homes. And I can give you just a few things that we've done. One of the things I encourage moms, and this is really painful when your kids are between the age of 4 and 7, so I know this, but you teach them how to tell a joke. And it goes something like this. You teach them and they'll say, knock, knock,
Who's there?
cat,
Cat who?
dog. And that's the joke. And they'll say that about 45 times. That's a beginner joke, but you start teaching them, how to tell jokes when they're little, and you get that humor going. Because I'm telling you, there are times when you have to choose to laugh, or you curl up in a ball. So we have had a lot of laughter in our homes, and I like to encourage moms to have that thread of laughter that unites them. And like Veggie Tales, that was huge when my kids were younger. And one of our favorite lines from Joshua and the Big Wall is there's all this clapping, something has happened, and one of the vegetables says, how are we clapping? We ain't got no hands. And that's kind of been a thing. I mean, for some women it comes natural. For others, it's a little bit more work. You have to buy the joke books, pick up some humorous, I dare you to listen to Veggie Tales, goofy songs. I love my lips, and where's my hairbrush? But you can't underestimate the power of laughter and grace.
It makes all of family life better. We're talking to Julianne Barnhill, who's written a book called Motherhood, The Guilt That Keeps on Giving. Such practical stuff in this book. It's an emotion that everybody, men and women, feel. If they don't feel it at some point, they're a psychopath. Because there's something wrong with that mechanism that the Lord has put within us of knowing right and wrong. But it can get out of control, and it can dominate you over things that you can't do anything about. And that's what you're talking about, understanding the difference between true guilt and false guilt. I was thinking as you were talking, Julie, that maybe 50%, this is an estimate, maybe 50% of the guilt that women feel today has to do with the pace of living.
Absolutely.
They're exhausted. You can't do everything you know to do. You want to. You talked in the last program about prayer, that you feel guilty. Everybody feels guilty because they haven't prayed enough. And all the other things. The list is
these independent youngsters or adolescents under your roof right now, you know how difficult life can be. But please be assured that with God, there is always hope. Here at the Dr. James Dobson Family Institute, we want to walk alongside you as a parent during these most important child-rearing years, especially if you have an extra effort child in your home. We've developed a new free 10-day email series based on Dr. Dobson's best-selling book called The New Strong-Willed Child. This series is designed to equip you to wisely lead your kids through even the toughest of trials. Now to sign up, just go to drjamesdobson.org/strong-willed child. Remember, it's a free 10-day email series. And the place to get it? drjamesdobson.org/strong-willed child. I'm Roger Marsh, inviting you to join us again tomorrow when you'll hear a powerful Q&A session with a panel of moms talking about confronting guilt in motherhood. So join us again tomorrow right here for another edition of Dr. James Dobson's Family Talk. This has been a presentation of the Dr. James Dobson
Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Clinton for the James Dobson Family Institute. Who inspires you on matters of faith, family, and culture? If you don't already get it, sign up for Dr. Dobson's monthly newsletter at drjamesdobson.org. Each month, you're going to receive insight and news that impacts your family and solid advice that you can trust. Whether it's wisdom for parents, tips for building a lasting marriage, or discernment on issues your family may be facing, you're going to find direction, encouragement, and more every month. Visit drjamesdobson.org and sign up for that monthly newsletter today. And again, that's drjamesdobson.org. You'll be glad you did.
If you decide to order a resource mentioned on Dr. James Dobson's Family Talk, it's important to let them know that you listen to their broadcast on AFR.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medishare. Maybe you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for healthcare can save many families $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. See what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 833-44-BIBLE. That's 833-44-BIBLE. 833-44-BIBLE.
90.5 KTXG, Greenville, Dallas.
Employee, you have the opportunity to support the American Family Association through the combined federal campaign by designating a monthly payroll deduction using 12037. You help AFA continue to fight for your family. So when you complete your CFC form, remember, AFA's number is 12037. And thank you for your help.
This is American Family Radio, the listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Robert Ford. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the issue of more border security spending might have bipartisan support. The Speaker discussing conversations he's had with Democrats on the issue.
I don't think anybody's stronger. I don't think the country's better if you have each other. And I think the difference here is I've had conversations with Democrat senators even as early as today who want to do something on the border.
The Senate reached an agreement on a bipartisan plan to fund the government, but Speaker McCarthy says he won't allow a vote on their proposal. Senate Democrats say the conservative border policies pushed by the House won't be able to pass their chamber. If an agreement isn't reached soon, the government will shut down over the weekend. California
donations into abortion doctors.
In other California news, get ready for possible higher costs in the state's fast food restaurants in the near future. As Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law raising the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 per hour. The raise takes effect April 1st and applies to fast food restaurants that have at least 60 locations nationwide. California is now among the first states to have a minimum wage specifically for fast food workers. Meg Kilgannon, FRC Senior Fellow for Education Studies, appeared on the Washington Watch program to discuss the issue between parents in Montgomery County, Maryland School District, where parents want to opt out their kids of sex education and LGBTQ instruction. But the school said no. The Fourth Circuit Court has the issue on the expedited hearing schedule. She said the attorney representing the parents is encouraged.
This is material that is a part of a diversity, equity, and inclusion sort of immersive curriculum. And one of them described a book that her daughter had brought home. It was called My Maddie. And her daughter was in third grade, and she brought it home because her sister's name was Maddie. But this book is about a mother who's becoming a daddy, or a daddy who's becoming a mother.
Activists in Mississippi's majority black capital city of Jackson are trying to join a federal lawsuit against the city for violating standards for clean drinking water. They also say the black judge presiding over the case is stirring racial division. The activists represent the Mississippi Poor People's Campaign and People's Advocacy Institute. They filed court papers yesterday asking to intervene in the federal government's ongoing lawsuit against the city over water quality problems. Ibram X. Kendi's Center for Anti-Racist Research at Boston University is laying off a dozen or more employees because of, according to whistleblowers, mismanagement of money and a toxic work environment. Here's AFN's Steve Jordan.
So-called anti-racist activist Ibram X. Kendi's research center is having to lay off somewhere north of a dozen people as whistleblowers tell tales of financial mismanagement in an unprofessional work environment. Terrace Todd of Project 21 says the Center for Anti-Racist Research got tens of millions of dollars in donations from donors and various nonprofits in the wake of the George Floyd riots of 2020.
The business of anti-racism is a part of an industry. You know, it's an industry that basically is a hustle. It's a way to get paid.
According to whistleblowers, no one's quite sure where all that money went. The center has only produced 2 research papers since its founding in 2020, and no one can seem to find the online database of racial inequity data in the United States, its core mission. Todd says perhaps that's because there's nowhere near as much racism in the country as is claimed by Kendi and Company.
Most black Americans, and just most Americans in general, are waking up to the fact that our country is not a systemically racist country.
One of the employees that's being let go is evangelical author Jamar Tisby, whose books mirror those of Ibram Kendi, but from a Christian perspective. Todd says an accurate evangelical solution to whatever racism is in the country would make for a short book.
How about let's just follow what Jesus had done, loving your neighbor, as yourself. Seeing ourselves as one to begin with. We are of one race, that's the human race.
For American Family News, I'm Robert Thornton.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jessica Peck, host of the Dr. Nurse Mama Show, the home of happy parents and healthy teens.